Hey everybody, it's the Ioniq guy. Today's topic is going to be the latest TSB from Hyundai, which is for the Ioniq 5, obviously, and it's in regard to how it's actually working, what it's doing to prevent the over temperature condition that's limiting your charging or actually cutting off your charging entirely on level 2 chargers at your home. Now, I haven't been able to get answers directly from Hyundai yet. I asked them about it, waiting for a response, but I wanted to get this video out sooner than later because a lot of you are starting to make appointments, and I want you guys to know what you're getting into when you get this TSB installed. So if you want to find out more, stay tuned. So many Ioniq 5 owners, Kia EV6 owners as well, have been dealing with an issue where on a level 2 home charger that's 40 amps, 48 amps, they're having issues with the charging cutting out completely, waking up in the morning expecting a full car, and not having a full car because it tripped out pretty quickly into the charging session. So Hyundai has addressed that with the latest TSB technical service bulletin for the Ioniq 5. And now that folks are getting this update installed on their car, we're starting to figure out what it's actually doing. Because that information wasn't super clear in the actual TSB, but now we have some raw information. So I am bald now. I'm shooting this the day after I shot the rest of this video. I did find out some more information about this TSB, and that is through the Canadian TSB. Apparently, they write their TSBs and give lots of detail, which the US TSBs are severely lacking. So I'm going to read to you what the Canadian TSB describes for the VCMS update. It says that the issue is caused when poor contact between electrical vehicle supply equipment and the vehicle charging port may cause the port to overheat. Poor contact may be caused due to debris or contamination in the charging port, excessive wear on the charger contacts, or the use of EVSE that do not meet SAE specifications or tolerances. When an overheating condition is detected, the vehicle will terminate the charging session. This bulletin provides instructions to update the vehicle charge management, blah, blah, blah. So then it goes on to give a description of the VCMS. The VCMS is designed to monitor the charging port temperature and terminate the charging session if it detects the charge port is overheating. The logic improvement in this VCMS update will downrate the charging current if an overheat condition is detected to regulate the temperature of the charging port and ensure continuous charging. If vehicles still experience intermittent charging failure after this update, inspect the customer's EVSE and charging port. It then goes on to say that this is for vehicles produced between October 4th, 2021 and April 12th, 2022. So I have not seen anything in the US TSB about this window of when vehicles were manufactured that might be affected by this. So if you've purchased your car, say summer 2022 till now, and are experiencing the intermittent charging failures, let me know down below, because I find it interesting that they're saying it stops after April 12th. So maybe there was a hardware change, but it sounds like they're actually blaming cheap EVSEs or contamination with the charge port that are causing this issue, and that it's not actually a manufacturing defect with the charge port. So this is one of the main reasons why I recommend to people to buy high quality chargers. Don't buy the cheap Amazon knockoffs just to save a few $100. You're just asking for issues down the line. I have one owner who provided me with some video of a level 2 charging session at his house, and I'm going to show you guys that in today's video. More or less in a nutshell, what's happening is if you say have your charger set up for 40 amps, 48 amps, once it senses that the charge port and the cabling associated with it, I'm not sure exactly where in that fixture it is, but it's somewhere near the charging receptacle, overheats, the car is going to significantly cut the charging current. So what we're seeing in this owner's case is that charging is dropping from 40 amps down to 23 amps. That is a significant drop in charging speed, and you'll see that in this video. Now, I am of the opinion that waking up in the morning expecting a full car and getting a mostly full car is definitely better than waking up in the morning and having virtually no range added to your car overnight. So I'm going to speed this clip up, but I'm looking at it right now. You can see he plugged in at 5:45 p.m. and he's charging at 40 amps, which for most people, 40 amps is a nice middle ground. A lot of people don't really need 48 amps, but 40 amps gets you to 80% relatively quickly, especially if you're coming from a level 1 charger. And by 6:06 p.m. where he lives, his charging speeds drop to 5.5 kilowatts, and that's about 23 amps. So you're nearly doubling your charging time by doing that. So for a lot of people, if you do a lot of driving every day, you get home with 5-10% of range left at 9 o'clock at night, you plug in, you might not wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning and have a full battery that you might need to get to your destination. So that is a big issue, in my opinion. So something else that I wanted to point out, I have talked to several other owners who have had the TSB installed, and they have confirmed to me that once the car derates from whatever you start charging at, be it 48 amps or 40 amps, when it drops down to 23 amps, it doesn't go back up if that charge port cools down and can handle a little bit more heat. So that would lead me to believe that it actually is an issue with the contacts having poor connection, that they don't want to exacerbate any issue there and go back up to 40 or 48 amps. So they're just going to leave it at 23 amps in that case. Now, if you're considering getting this update, I highly suggest you try and charge your car at the reduced or minimum charging speeds. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in and show you what I get on my 40 amp charger. So when I'm normally charging on my 40 amp station, this is what I'm going to see, 9.2 kW. But let's go into the EV settings. In the settings here, we'll go to charging current. So right now we're on maximum. Let's see what we get when we're in reduced mode. So now let's go to minimum, 5.5 kW. So the car is defaulting to minimum when it senses an over temperature condition on the charge port. So 8.3 kW is about 34-35 amps. Obviously that's not 40 amps or 48 amps, but it's better than 32, and it's certainly better than 5500, which is only about 23 amps. So if you try the reduced setting and it still doesn't help, your car's still tripping out, then you're going to want to go and get the TSB installed, because you need some assurance that your car is going to charge overnight. So I have 4 suggestions for you guys to successfully go and get a TSB installed at the dealership. Number 1, bring a hard printout copy of the TSB with you. I've had people tell me that the dealership refuses to look at anything on their phone, so please bring a physical copy that you can refer to. I've been told by many people that the technicians have been really thankful that they had a physical copy of the TSB so they can actually see what you're looking to get installed. Number 2, do not refer to it as a recall. This is completely different from a recall. A recall is safety related. This is a technical service bulletin for minor complaints of a car. That's how it's used. So don't go in saying recall, because the second they hear recall, they're going to look for a recall in the system, and there's not going to be any recall. So if you say that, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, and they're not going to want to help you. Number 3, make sure the dealership is Ioniq certified. If they don't sell EVs, then they're not going to help you out. So if you haven't seen my recent video, I kind of go on a rant about how dealerships are causing all sorts of headaches for people. And we started compiling together a list of dealerships willing to help and dealerships not willing to help. And I sent that to Hyundai. They actually came back to me and said, hey, a lot of these dealerships that aren't willing to help aren't actually Ioniq certified, so they literally can't help you out. So make sure you are going to an Ioniq certified dealer. I will have a link in the description to a PDF where you can view all the Ioniq certified dealerships in the United States as of the making of this video. Number 4, go in and complain about the issue at hand. Tell them, I am having my level 2 charger trip over a certain current rating. So they know that there is an actual issue. I've heard stories from other people that they can turn you away if you don't actually complain about something. If you just say, hey, I want this, without having an actual complaint, then they have the right to turn you away. I don't know why that is, but they do. And I guess I have a 5th thing. Go in with a good attitude. Don't try and fight with them. I know you could be banging your head against the wall, trying to tell them what the problem is, and they don't want to listen, but don't be rude. Don't get uppity with them. Just understand where they're coming from. They work on a lot of different cars every single day. They all have their own TSBs associated with them. They all have their own recalls associated with them. So there's a lot of things in this big book of problems that they're dealing with on a daily basis, and they're not necessarily always up to date on the exact thing that came out for your car because they don't own the car. They're not that concerned about it. So just try and be polite, respectful, and hopefully they'll be able to help you. But anyway, guys, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. I hope this solves some problems for you. And if it does, let me know in the comment section. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody. It's coming right at me! Whoop, whoop. Oh my God, it lives under there.